Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, and today we are breaking down the most explosive, heart-stopping wedding day disaster in the history of the show. Grab your popcorn because the union of Deacon and Taylor just hit a massive, Sheila-sized brick wall that no one saw coming until it was too late. Imagine a day that was supposed to be about healing, new beginnings, and finally finding peace after years of turmoil. That was the dream for Deacon and Taylor as they prepared to say their idos. For Taylor, this was her moment to step out of the shadows of the eternal Ridge and Brook Triangle and finally choose a life where she was the center of someone's world. For Deacon, it was his chance to prove to the entire town of Genoa City and Los Angeles that he was a changed man. Someone who had traded his reckless past for a future built on a loyalty and love. But we all know that in this world, the past doesn't just stay buried. It lurks in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And the shadow has a name, Sheila Carter. Despite the beautiful flowers, the ocean breeze, and the gathering of a family, a feeling of pure dread hung in the air. The whispers were true. Sheila was not going to let this day happen without a fight. What started as a serene ceremony, like a dark cloud over the festivities, she didn't come with a gun or a bomb this time. She came with words that felt like poison, reminding everyone that she was once a part of Deacon's life and that she had to no intention on of being forgotten. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife as Sheila looked Deacon in the eye and reminded him of a chilling promise. If she couldn't have a place in his life, then no one would have peace. Let's really get into the meat of this. Because the emotional weight of this day was absolutely heavy. You have to look at Deacon and Taylor, two people who, let's be honest, have been through the absolute emotional ringer. Taylor has spent decades being the other women in Reed's life, constantly caught in that exhausting storm involving Brooke Logan and the never ending Forrester family drama. For her, this wedding was supposed to be a sanctuary. It was her way of saying, I'm done being a second choice. And then there's Deacon. Man, he has fought so hard to climb out of the hole he dug for himself over the years. He wanted to show the world he wasn't just that reckless guy who made destructive choices anymore. He wanted to be a man of fidelity, but the problem was the baggage he brought with him. Specifically, the dangerous and complicated bond he shared with Sheila Carter. From the very second those wedding invitations were sent out, you could feel the shift in the air. People weren't just talking about the cake or the flowers. They were whispering about whether or not Sheila would show up, and honestly, can you blame her for feeling betrayed? In the weeks leading up to this, Sheila had been trying in her own fragile, twisted way to find redemption, but Taylor, being the protective mother she wasn't having any of it. She stayed deeply defensive of her family, and who could blame her after everything Sheila has put them through? The real kicker, though, was Deacon. He used to be Sheila's strongest supporter, her only real ally in a world that hated her. But to make things work with Taylor, he started to pull away. He prioritized his new life, his clean life, over his connection with Sheila. For a woman like Sheila Carter, that kind of shift doesn't just hurt, it feels like the ultimate abandonment. In the days leading up to the big I do, Sheila's behavior started getting real erratic. Even for her, people saw her lurking near Ivan Giardino, just watch Deacon from a distance with this look on her face. That was terrifying mix of deep longing and pure unadulterated rage. She was she was asking too many questions about the guest list and the location. Some people just shrugged it off as typical Sheila, but Steffi and Finn knew better. They have seen this movie before, and they know how it ends. They knew that when Sheila feels cornered, rejected, or replaced, and right now she was feeling all three, she became the most dangerous person on the planet. On the morning of the wedding, the vibes were just off. Even though it was a beautiful day, there was this thick cloud of apprehension. Taylor was surrounded by Steffi and Thomas, who were doing their absolute best to be supportive and make the day perfect for their mom. But Steffi, she couldn't shake it. She told Finn that her gut was screaming at her that something was wrong. She just knew Sheila wasn't going to let this go. And Finn, poor Finn was so torn. He wants to be loyal to his wife, but he still has those complicated feelings about his birth mother. He tried to calm Steffi down, but even he couldn't deny that trouble was probably knocking at the door. Meanwhile, Deacon was getting ready, and you could tell he was a mess of joy and unease. He's waited so long for a woman like Taylor, but Sheila was still living rent free in the back of his mind. He remembered their last conversation, the one that ended in that bone chilling silence. He could still see her eyes darkening as she whispered that thread that would haunt him. If I can't have my place in your life, also no one will have peace. I mean, imagine hearing that and then trying to go stand at an altar. As the guests started arriving, the tension was palpable. You had Brooke Logan there, watching everything with this complicated look. She's got history with both Deacon and Taylor, and seeing them together was a massive reminder of how messy all their lives are. Reach was there, Hope and Liam were there. Everyone has just waiting for the other shoe to drop. The ceremony started, the waves were crashing against the shore, and for a split second it actually looked like they might pull it off. Taylor walked down the aisle looking like a queen, and Deacon looked at her with so much genuine love. It was beautiful. But then the world stopped. Reach as the officiant started to speak the vows. A commotion broke out. Everyone turned, and there she was, Sheila. She wasn't wearing anything bright or celebratory. She was in dark, understated clothes that made her look like a shadow. The silence that fell over that crowd was deafening. You could see the fear spreading like wildfire. Steffi immediately jumped into protection mode for her mom, and Finn's face is just dropped. Deacon's voice was shaking when he finally asked her what she was doing there. Sheila didn't even answer at first. She just walked forward slowly. Her eyes locked on him like a predator. When she finally spoke, she was so calm it was actually scarier than if she had been screaming. She said she came to witness something important because she was once part of his life. Taylor tried to be strong, telling her to leave, but Sheila just gave her that creepy little smile. She told Taylor that this wasn't just a wedding, but a turning point, and that she had a pledge to keep. Deacon was practically begging her at this point. He told her not to do this, that whatever she was thinking wasn't the way, but Sheila's heart had turned to stone. She told him he made his choice. He chose Taylor over her, a life that didn't include her, and because of that, things had to change. Steffi tried to shut it down, telling her she wouldn't ruin another day, but Sheila just laughed. It was that heartbreaking, unsettling laugh that makes your skin crawl. She claimed she wasn't there to hurt anyone today, but that today was about the truth and the consequences of Deacon's betrayal. She looked at them both and asked if they really thought a wedding would bring them peace and or erase the past. Taylor tried to act brave, saying they weren't afraid, but Sheila's eyes flashed with this terrifying intensity. She reminded them that she promised to make this a day no one would ever forget. The despair in Deacon's voice was heartbreaking as he pleaded with her to just walk away. But Sheila looked at him one last time, let that brief moment of softness fade away, and said, I formally made my oath, and I always keep my pledges. The impact of this confrontation is going to be felt for a long, long time. First off, let's talk about the psychological warfare Sheila is playing. She didn't need a weapon to ruin this wedding. She used the weight of the past by showing up and reminding Deacon of this reason. She has effectively strained his marriage to Taylor before it even truly began. Every time Deacon looks at Taylor now, he's going to be thinking about Sheila's threat. It's like she's planted a seed of doubt and fear that's going to grow into a massive rift between them. Then you have the fallout within the Forrester and Logan families. This event has completely validated Steffi's paranoia. She was right all along, and that is going to make her even more militant when it comes to Sheila, which will inevitably put more pressure on Finn. Finn is caught in the middle of a war zone, and his birth mother just lobbed a grenade into his father in law's wedding. The consequences for Deacon are also huge. He spent so much time trying to convince everyone he was clean, but Sheila's presence reminded everyone that he is forever tied to the most dangerous women in town. Will Taylor be able to handle the constant threat, or will the peace she so desperately wanted turn into a living nightmare? Sheila's pledge isn't just a threat, it's a life sentence of looking over their shoulders. This isn't just about a ruined wedding, it's about the total destruction of the stability Deacon and Taylor tried to build. Okay, can we just talk about how Sheila Carter is literally the goat of wedding crashers? I mean, I know she's evil and dangerous, but the level of drama she brings is just unmatched. Honestly, part of me feels for her just a tiny bit. Imagine being the only person who stood by a guy when he was at his lowest, and this as soon as he finds a respectable woman, he acts like you don't exist. That's got to sting. But obviously, showing up to a wedding in funeral colors and threatening everyone is a bit much. Sheila, I really wanted Taylor to have her happy ending. I truly did. She's been through so much with Reach and Brooke that she deserved a win. But Deacon, man, Deacon is playing with fire. You can't just delete Sheila Carter from your life like a bad app. She's the operating system of chaos. I don't think this marriage stands a chance if they're constantly waiting for Sheila to strike. And can we give a round of applause to Steffi? She was ready to throw hands the moment Sheila stopped foot on that property. That is daughter of the year energy right there. I'm honestly worried for Finn though. He looks like he's about to have a nervous breakdown every time mom shows up. This was an absolute roller coaster of an episode, and I honestly don't know how Deacon and Taylor recover from this. Is the wedding even official if Sheila interrupted the vows, or is the pledge she made going to haunt them forever? I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Do you think Deacon was wrong to cast Sheila aside so quickly? And do you think Taylor should run for the hills while she still can? Let me know your theories down below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the drama, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update on all the chaos. We have got so much more to cover, and you won't want to miss a single second of what happens next.